Before Wi-Fi, before smartphones, before streaming, there was a sound, a strange robotic noise that meant one thing: you were connecting to the internet. And behind that sound was a company most people today have never heard of, US Robotics. In the 1990s, this company powered millions of internet connections around the world. It was one of the most important tech companies of its time. But today, it's almost completely forgotten. So how does a company go from building the internet to disappearing from it? To understand US Robotics, we need to go back to a time when the internet wasn't what it is today. In the 1980s, computers were becoming more common, but they were isolated. If you wanted to connect to another computer, you needed a modem. A modem allowed computers to communicate over telephone lines. It converted digital signals into sounds, and those sounds traveled across the network. This was slow, noisy, and complicated, but it was revolutionary. That's where US Robotics came in. Founded in 1976, the company focused on building high-quality modems. At first, it was a niche business, but the timing couldn't have been better. By the early 1990s, the internet started to take off. People wanted email, websites, online communities, but none of that was possible without modems. And US Robotics became one of the best in the business. Their products were known for reliability, speed, ease of use. One of their most famous product lines was Sportster modems. These devices became incredibly popular with home users. At the same time, US Robotics also developed high-end modems for businesses, including their Courier series, which was considered premium. By the mid-1990s, US Robotics was a dominant force in internet connectivity. Then came the moment that changed everything. The internet went mainstream. Companies like AOL, CompuServe brought millions of people online, and every one of those users needed a modem. This created massive demand, and US Robotics was right in the center of it. At its peak, the company controlled a huge share of the modem market. It generated billions in revenue. It became a key player in the internet revolution. For a moment, it looked unstoppable. In 1997, something big happened. US Robotics was acquired by 3Com. At the time, this seemed like a smart move. 3Com was a major networking company. The idea was simple: combine networking hardware with modem technology. But this is where things started to shift, because the market itself was about to change. As the late 1990s approached, a new technology began to emerge: broadband internet. Instead of dial-up modems, people started using DSL, cable internet. These were faster, always connected, more convenient. And most importantly, they didn't need traditional modems. This was a huge problem, because US Robotics' entire business was built around dial-up technology. As broadband adoption grew, demand for dial-up modems dropped fast. What was once essential became outdated. US Robotics and 3Com tried to adapt, but they were too tied to their original market. Competitors moved faster, technology moved faster, and the company couldn't keep up. By the early 2000s, the modem market had collapsed. US Robotics was no longer relevant. Eventually, the brand was sold and absorbed into other companies. US Robotics didn't fail because it was a bad company. It failed because the world changed. It helped build the early internet. It connected millions of people. It played a critical role in a technological revolution. But when the next wave came, it couldn't adapt fast enough, because in technology, even the companies that build the future can be erased by it.